So, in video 13 we started to discuss the past perfect tense, but concentrated on how to form the past participle for regular verbs and common irregular verbs. We won't repeat these rules here, but instead give examples of the use of the past perfect tense in Guernsey, give some more examples of verbs with irregular past participles, and also discuss two other perfect tenses, the pluperfect tense and the future perfect tense. So let's start with the past perfect tense used to describe a completed action in the past. Examples are, I have unlocked the door, I have forwarded the email, he has opened the window. It's constructed in Guernsey in the same way as in these examples. The auxiliary verb have, avait, in the present tense, plus the past participle of the main verb. We now give some examples to illustrate the usage. The first example we'll look at perdu, and that's the past participle of the re verb perdre, to lose. J'ai perdu mes quilles.
J'ai perdu mes quilles.
J'ai perdu mes quilles.
J'ai perdu mes quilles. I've lost my keys. Next, fini is a past participle of the ir verb fini, to finish. T'as fini ton travail.
T'as fini ton travail.
T'as fini ton travail.
T'as fini ton travail. You finished your work. In the next example, there are two past participles, the irregular form ri, from rire, to laugh, and oui, from the ir verb oui, to hear. Il a ri quand il a oui chena.
Il a ri quand il a oui chena.
Il a ri quand il a oui chena.
Il a ri quand il a oui chena. He has laughed when he has heard that. In English we might say he laughed when he heard that. The word chena is a general form of that, meaning that which we have just been talking about. À la veille son fils.
À la veille son fils.
À la veille son fils.
À la veille son fils, she has seen her son. Here veille is the irregular past participle of veille, to see. In the next two examples we have regular IER verbs, dénicher, which means to emerge or to come out, and trochier, which means to look for. Nous a déniché à la même pièce.
Nous a déniché à la même pièce.
Nous a déniché à la même pièce.
Nous a déniché à la même pièce. We've come out at the same place. Vous avez troché pour le cas d'Olschna.
Vous avez troché pour le cas d'Olschna.
Vous avez troché pour le cas d'Olschna.
Vous avez troché pour le cas d'Olschna. You've looked for the cat in the loft. Finally, we give an example using di, which is the irregular past participle of dire, to say. Il a indiqué à tout le monde.
Il a indiqué à tout le monde.
Il a indiqué à tout le monde.
Il a indiqué à tout le monde. They've said that to everybody, or literally they've said that to the whole world, or all the world. In the examples above, we've used some irregular past participles which were not listed at the end of video 13. We'll now give another list of irregular past participles to supplement that list. Some of these we've just used, others will be used later on in the video. Rire, to laugh, has the past participle ri, laughed. Veille, to see, has the past participle vai, seen. Dire, to say, has a past participle di, said. Mat, to put, has a past participle mi, put. Écrire, to write, has a past participle écrit, written. Bear, to drink, has a past participle bu, drunk. Cour, to run, has a past participle couru, run. So we've been discussing how the past perfect tense is constructed by using the auxiliary verb avait, to have. Unfortunately, while this is true most of the time, there are some verbs which form their past perfect tense using the auxiliary verb être, to be. I haven't mentioned this before because I wanted to avoid confusion with the continuous tenses which also use the auxiliary verb et, although they add an a. There are two broad classes of verbs which use the to be form for the past perfect tense. The first is a very small class of verbs which have to do with movement. The best example is vni, to come. An example of past perfect for this verb is il est venu un matin.
Il est venu un matin.
Il est venu un matin.
Il est venu un matin. He has come this morning. Notice we don't say il a venu, which has the literal translation he has come, but he is come. Although this isn't a very useful way of thinking about what the phrase means. The second class of verbs which use the auxiliary verb ate for the past perfect tense is the reflexive verbs, and we'll discuss these at the end of the video. Okay, so there's two other perfect tenses which can be straightforwardly constructed using what we already know. The first is a pluperfect tense, which is familiar to English speakers as a past tense where we use had as an auxiliary verb. So examples are, I had eaten before she arrived. I had heard the news before you told me. You had sold the car before he told me that he wanted to buy it. In all these cases, one is describing an action that took place before another action, which itself took place in the past. For instance, in the first example, she arrived is an event which happened in the past, but I had eaten took place even earlier than that. So in practice then, for English speakers, we can think of places where we would use had, and this identifies where we use the pluperfect tense. It's constructed from the imperfect tense of ave, so see video 11, plus the past participle. Again, this isn't too different from English, the past tense of to have, had, plus the past participle. So here are some examples. J'avais justement fini mon dîner quand la coque a sonné.
J'avais justement fini mon dîner quand le coq a sonné.
J'avais justement fini mon dîner quand le coq a sonné.
J'avais justement fini mon dîner quand la coque a sonné. I had just finished my dinner when the bell rang. Notice that in this case, in both genius-y and in English, an adverb justement, just, is inserted between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. T'avais mis la table devant mesure.
T'avais mis la table devant mesure.
T'avais mis la table devant mesure.
T'avais mis la table devant mesure. You had laid the table before midday. In genius-y, to lay the table is to put the table. Il avait écrit un outlet devant Shenzhen.
Il avait écrit un outlet devant Shenzhen.
Il avait écrit un outlet devant Shenzhen.
Il avait écrit un outlet devant Shenzhen. He had written another letter before this. Here Shenzhen means this, in the same way as Shena meant that. So it means this thing or this event which we have just been talking about, or which has just occurred. Elle avait bu un verre de vin devant son dîner.
Elle avait bu un verre de vin devant son dîner.
Elle avait bu un verre de vin devant son dîner.
Elle avait bu un verre de vin devant son dîner. She had drunk a glass of wine before her dinner. Nous avons joué une gomme devant déjeuner.
Nous avons joué une gomme devant déjeuner.
Nous avons joué une gomme devant déjeuner.
Nous avons joué une gomme devant déjeuner. We had played a game before breakfast. Vous avez trompé mon nom, le droit cow.
Vous avez trompé mon nom, le droit cow.
Vous avez trompé mon nom, le droit cow.
Vous avez trompé mon nom, le droit cow. You had forgotten my name the last time. Il avait eu trop à boire quand le cabaret a chiao.
Il avait eu trop à boire quand le cabaret a chiao.
Il avait eu trop à boire quand le cabaret a chiao.
Il avait eu trop à boire quand le cabaret a chiao. They had had too much to drink when the pub closed. Finally, we can construct the future perfect tense from the auxiliary verb ave in the future tense plus the past participle. It's equivalent to the English will have followed by the past participle. For example, you will have reached there by then. And it implies an inference or expectation. I expect that you will have reached there by then. Here are some examples of this tense. Jere kmoshi mordenai dva kavpasai dus.
Shere kmoshi mordenai dva karpasai dus.
Jere kmoshi mordenai dva karpasai dus.
Jere kmoshi mordenai dva kavpasai dus. I'll have started my dinner before 12:15. Tera deja dvizai dovli.
Tera deja dvizai dovli.
Terra deja divisai dovli.
Tera deja dvizai dovli. You'll already have spoken with him. Ilera mi lakojer.
Ilera mila kojer.
Ilera mila kojer.
Ilera mi lakojer. He'll have put the kettle on. Alera yai sortuv dvali.
Alera jai so tur dvali.
El era jai son tor dvali.
Alera yai sortuv dvali. She'll have had her turn before him. Nus era kuru sinai pavshutola.
Nuzera kwaru sinan parshutola.
Nusera kuru sinan pashutola.
Nusera kuru sinai pavshutola. We'll have run home by that time, or in my saying English, we'll have run home by then. Vus erai yai abortor.
Vus era jai abotor.
Fusera jai abuoto.
Vus erai yai abortor. You'll have had a good time. Il erai oui les nouvelles.
Il era oui les nouvelles.
Il era oui les nouvelles.
Il erai oui les nouvelles. They'll have heard the news. And in both the pluperfect and the future perfect tenses, the movement verbs and the reflexive verbs also take the auxiliary verb ate. For example, ishravnu pavshutola.
Ishravnu parshutola.
Ishravnu pashutola.
Ishravnu pavshutola. He'll have come by that time, or he'll have come by then. Okay, so we'll end with a short chat about the reflexive verbs that I was mentioned earlier on. Examples of the use of reflexive verbs in English are I washed myself, he hurt himself, they sat themselves down. They are, however, far more commonly used in genius ye and occur frequently. So here we'll give a very brief introduction to them and leave their detailed discussion for the future. A reflexive verb in genius ye has an infinitive which begins with the word se, which in this case, or in this context, means oneself. So examples are se lavai.
Se lavai.
Se lavai.
Se lavai, to wash oneself. Se couchier.
Se couchier.
Se couchier.
Se couchier, to lie oneself down. Serve posai.
Serposai.
Serposai.
Serve posai, to rest oneself. If the word after se starts with a vowel sound, one uses s apostrophe. But in fact the e in se is so indistinct in the spoken language that the s apostrophe form is used quite generally. S'assier.
Saucier.
Sassier.
S'assier is to sit. Zbutai.
Sputai.
Sputai.
Zbutai is to stand. Smefiai.
Smethiai.
Smefiai.
Smefiai is to take care. Zbacier.
Spacier.
Spacier.
Zbacier is to bend down. We've omitted the oneself in the above since these concepts are quite generally described by verbs which are reflexive. Many standard verbs in genius ye can be made reflexive. On the other hand, there are verbs whose reflexive and non-reflexive forms have evolved to have different meanings. So examples are creer, to believe, screr, to be self-important, kiergi, to clear an article, skiergi, to clear of the weather, madai is to ask, sed madai is to wonder, rumbiai is to forget, srumbiai is to oversleep, Truvai is to find, struvai is to turn up unexpectedly, Ramarsai is to gather, and Svamarsai is to depart.